me go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brother Keith. My old nasty flesh. I'd like to go over here and do something stupid. I have a little problem here. My anchor's holding me. I don't want to hurt your feelings, oh, you brilliant dolls of education. But the boat ain't holding the anchor. The anchor's holding the boat. The victory doesn't come from the vessel. The victory comes from the anchor. It's the anchor that's holding me steady. I'm not worried about the economy. I'm not worried about disease and devils and demons. I got something working for me that operates in the invisible world. Yeah, you sit down. I'm going to get to my sermon in a second. In tribulation, you can triumph. In disaster, you can have deliverance. In despair, you can have hope. Why? Because I have an anchor that is superior to any windstorm, any storm, any situation, any devil, any demon, any sickness. I got an anchor that will hold me in overwhelming times. And the anchor's got 2 words on it. Now you can shout. Oh, you politicians, you ready? Now we're going to shout right now. The anchor's got 2 words on it. And here's what makes you victorious. But God. You didn't get it yet. I would have blown my brains out, but God. I would have thrown the towel in, but God. I would have resigned my church, but God. I wanted not to pray anymore, but God. I didn't want to pay my tithe, but God. I didn't feel like singing and praising, but God, who is rich in mercy. I got a God who is rich in mercy, and I can overcome because I got a but God. Woo! Woo! You can sit down. I'm just going. My prophet Isaiah says, when the enemy comes in, what's the rest of it? You know what? Why don't we just do it the other way? Because there's really no punctuation in that Hebrew literature. We always say, when the enemy comes in like a flood, comma, the Lord will raise up a standard. Let's move the comma. When the enemy comes in, comma, like a flood, the Lord will just raise up a standard. I said he's on your side. I said he's on my side. I said no weapon formed against you can prosper. I said nothing can take you out because he's on your side. Now what? I know I'm messing with you a little bit. You see, we have a God that intervenes and he intercepts. And I looked up the word intervene, to come between, to hinder some action, to interrupt the course of action, to intercept before an accomplishment. We have a God who intervenes, who steps in, who upsets hell's apple cart. Now, that's not a bad word, is it? No, hell's apple cart. I'd like to use some of the words the Bible uses. Boy, you'd really have a time. I feel like I have a word for somebody in this building right now. Don't be frustrated. You may be held and tracked by the sovereignty of God. There's too many of us holy rollers always wanting to get out of this and get out of that and deliver me here and snatch me out of here and take me out of here. Yeah, I think God is looking for some people that have some dedicated diligence that'll say, well, if you don't take me out, you'll take me through. Because you got a greater testimony when you go through than when God snatched you out. many of us are looking to escape, and God's wanting us to experience. Too many of us want to be delivered, and God wants us to discover. You're not getting it yet. Don't you get it? In every storm, there's a door. In every problem, there's a passageway. Every time God allows a God storm to come in your life, you better hold on. There's a voice coming out of the darkness. Now, they got in a storm and scared half to death, but here comes somebody walking on the water, because you're not going to experience the supernatural like you want until you go through some God storms. We all like to talk about how Job's story ended, but you remember that God spoke to Job from the whirlwind, not from the hotel or Howard Johnson's or the Radisson or wherever you folks like to lay before the Lord. Now you think I'm kidding you. See, we're being lied to by the devil that somehow God can't talk to you from a storm. That's the best place he talks from. The Bible said that Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. We don't believe God can talk unless he's in light. Man, he can light up the dark. Yeah, I'm having a hard time here. I really am. When Adam and Eve sinned, they should have been taken out, but God showed up. Let me try it. You're wussy-fied, folks. And when you get into a bunch of hell and trouble and problems in your life, and you should have been taken out, but God showed up. And you who were dead in trespasses and sins have he quickened. We used to have wrong natures. We did the wrong things. We did bad things. We were filled with evil. We were all messed up. We couldn't do right. Verse 4. But God. When you and I are, maybe not some of you professional holy rollers, but some of us that were sitting on bar stools and honky-tonks and hellholes and movie theaters and gambling houses, when we were sitting right there and the devil wanted to take them out, God stepped in and said, you can't have her. You can't have him. And he snatched us out. Oh, I wish I had a witness now. Some of you need to start acting like you got snatched out instead of like you waltzed out. If you're going to get a breakthrough, sometimes you got to stop acting pretty. You got to stop acting cute. You got to bust a move. You got to go through the crowds. You got to pull the roof off. You got to scream like Bartimaeus, "Hey, Jesus!" Some deliverance, Reverend, has to come when you look bad. Sit down. Sit down. I know where I'm going. I wrote all this stuff. I know where I am. Now, if you think I'm going to preach my guts out to resurrect the dead, you're out of your mind. I got a great church I can preach to. I don't need to fight with you. What God is trying to do in this conference, I think, I could be wrong, I think, God is trying to do what he said in Psalms 138. He will perfect that which concerneth me. See, the problem is we don't have the courage to name to that. You about ready to read, Anthony? I'm not doing very good. No, I'm getting killed up here.
And Abraham journeyed from thence toward south country, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and so journeyed to Gerar.
You got it. Keep going.
And Abraham saith unto Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah.
Now wait. Go ahead.
But God.
Stop. Now you're not getting it yet. Abimelech was a bad dude. He was the king. He was the hot dog. He was the big kahuna. He snatched his cat's wife because the guy's a liar. That's the way people of God usually are. Oh, y'all, what, am I in the Bible?